What's going on? It's me, Mario. What's up? So, I'm sober now.
It becomes tender, gentle, and in this moment of silence, tenderness, something arrives, and that is truth.
I'm gonna play probably something.
Intellect will have to settle down. Till the time intellect has not realized that it cannot grasp everything, realization cannot happen. An
Percent.
intellect can realize that it cannot grasp everything only in two ways: A by reason, B by practice. Reason is you actually trying to grasp, understand a thing from its beginning to end. B, practice, which is the suffering of life. Only when you fail to understand by reason, you need the second way, that is the suffering. There is only one way, that is understanding. Understanding that intellect cannot grasp all. And the state that comes after this understanding, that intellect cannot grasp all, that state is eligible for truth. That state will be given all without asking.
I'm kind of overweight, so
Try to understand it by reason.
overweight.
This is an easier way. You have no choice of not understanding. This luxury you do not have. Either you understand consciously by putting your reason, or life will make you understand by
Basically, it's talking about the settlement of the ego, which is when you just you realize that you can't understand, even though you understand, you realize you can't understand. By the way, I can't see chat, so anyone's there, I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah. I'm getting a new phone. I don't know when. Probably tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, tomorrow. Okay, so basketball player, graceful, lucky. Let me get organized. What else should I get? Well, didn't go. Conspicuous. Lighting. So lose weight. In real life. Making Bob Ross. Dreads. Redhead dreads. Alright. These are the end times. Okay, so this is the house we started in. Looking more and more like fucking queso by the minute. Whoa. 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 Wait, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Hey, 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 hey. The man has fallen into the river in Lego City. Okay, so what the fuck are we wearing? Got a lot of food. Not much else. Our love goes on. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel. God, it's foggy. Oh, we got a car. Nice. Try and move this place a little bigger. Okay, so we got. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Every night in my dreams. What the hell? I got two rifles and a shotgun on it. These are baggy jeans. Okay. Crowbar. Excellent. A chicken in the freezer. Alright, so I'm putting everything in here. Metalwork 1. God damn. Okay. Too dark in here. There we go.
pain and suffering.
Pain and suffering.
Either you try or life will try. There's no question of not happening. You cannot escape. You will have to understand. There is no way that you will never realize. There is no way that your intellect will never settle. It will settle one day, but one is an easy way, another is painful way. Easy way is the reason. Scientifically, rationally, logically, try to understand the thing, and you will end up at understanding that you cannot understand. And that will bring settlement, an inner settlement. This is an easy way. But if you do not go for this easy way, then life has a bitter way for you. Life will tear you apart. The pain and suffering that you see in your life is not because of an incident, event, some mistakes, no. The pain and suffering in life that you are experiencing is nothing but life ways to make you understand that you cannot understand everything. The pain and suffering in life that you're going through is life's way of telling you that everything is not in your comprehension. It is life's way of telling you that you are not the boss. You are not the ultimate. You cannot dictate. Life has a bitter way.
Yes, life.
And if you still so resistance, if you still try to maintain your ego, then life will crush you.
It's over.
It has to crush you for your own betterment. Because till the time you have ego, there is no bliss, there is no freedom, there is no settlement. Till the time you have ego, you are wandering from one place to another, from one pleasure to another. Till the time you have ego, you are homeless. Life wants you to return to home and relax. Life wants you to be free. But you don't understand. You think being egoistic is being free. You're very convinced that being egoistic is being supreme. Being on the top is being supreme, but life tells you no. You better understand consciously by reason. Otherwise, I will have to do something to make you understand. Life gives you pain and suffering to tell you that being on the top is not supreme. Being on the ground is supreme. Being too knowledgeable like an adult is not great. Being innocent like a child is great. And this is life's way of crushing your intellect so that intellect settles. So that intellect realizes that it cannot grasp all. Everything is beyond its comprehension. Somehow intellect has to settle. And to settle this intellect, Bodhidharma says there are two ways: reason and practice. Reason is your way, practice is life's way. Your way is easier way, life's way is bitter way. There is just one thing, that is, understand that it's beyond understanding. Once you understand this, you are free. You are free from the grip of ego, from the game of duality. You are free for once and all.
Being normal is the fastest way to become invisible. And I mean that in every sense of the word. You're invisible to the people around you, invisible to the opportunities, invisible to yourself. Because when you're trying to fit in, when you're molding yourself into what you think other people want, you're not actually there anymore. You're just a copy of what you think normal should be. But the people who actually stand out, the ones that people remember, the ones that get opportunities and build real lives, they're the ones who are weird. And in this video, I'm going to break down why being weird isn't something to be afraid of in general. It's actually your biggest advantage. And I'm not saying that in like a, cornball kind of way. It might come out as that. I don't know. I'm trying to make it, I'm trying my best not to sound, I'm trying not to sound cringe. But we'll start with the basic psychology of it. Our brains are wired to fit in. Way back in evolutionary history, being kicked out of your tribe meant death. So we developed this deep, almost automatic instinct to conform, to be like everyone else. And that made sense then, but it doesn't make sense now. But we still carry that instinct with us. It's still there in the back of our mind telling you, don't be too different, don't stand out too much. Just blend in and you'll be safe. Except here's the thing, you're not gonna die if you're different. I guess depends whatever country you're in. But let's say you're from the US. Nobody's gonna exile you from society because you like video games more than football, or because you have opinions that don't match your friend group, or because you're interested in something that seems uncool, Yet we act like that's what's going to happen. We spend so much mental energy trying to be normal that we actually lose sight of who we are. And the result, everyone around you is doing the exact same thing. You're all trying to fit in. You're all wearing similar clothes. You're all listening to the same music, watching the same exact shows. You're having the same surface level conversations all the time, about the same topics all the time. You're all invisible. You're all basically just one person. It's not the greatest thing to be. You want your own thing going for you. And in some groups, it's kind of their only way of being together. Little groups, I kind of understand more. But when you're in a big group of like maybe 20 people with friends, some people in that group they're trying to fit in. Some people sometimes don't feel like they belong in that group. They're just fitting in. No one's saying nothing, but they're just kind of fitting in the way they feel like they should. And that's not a way, things should go. It really isn't a way people should be. And I probably should have said this at the beginning. I want to be clear about what I mean by weird, because I think a lot of people misunderstand this. Being weird doesn't mean being shocked or weird for shock value in general. It doesn't mean doing things to get attention or to make people uncomfortable. That's just being desperate. Real weirdness is just being yourself. That's it, because that's weird now, right? You like something that most people your age don't like. That's weird. You have an opinion that goes against what your friend group believes. That's weird. You're passionate about something that seems uncool or niche. That's weird. And here's what I realized. Everyone has something they're weird about. Everyone. But most people hide it. They keep it locked away because they're afraid of what people think. They're afraid of being judged. But the people who don't hide it, the people who lean into their weirdness, those are the people who end up doing interesting things. Think about any successful person you know, any creator on YouTube. That's a good example. Any creator on YouTube. If everyone was the same exact person, which a lot of people are, but the outliers, the people who are just completely different, who are very popular, you know, you watch them because they have your same humor. They have this, they have that. If everyone was the same exact person, you'd watch everybody. But sometimes you don't like a specific person on YouTube, and it happens because everyone's different. And that's what makes YouTube YouTube. And on like entrepreneurship, you know, Steve Wozniak was weird about computers when nobody else cared about them. Now we all have iPhones because of that weirdness. Minecraft itself is weird. It's literally just a block game. You know, you're watching it right now. Really think about it. It's completely different from every other game. But it became the most played game ever because it was different. Because it let people be weird in it, you know, maybe a little too weird in it. I don't know. And the thing that ties all these examples together is confidence, but not the kind of confidence you're thinking. Real confidence isn't, I look so perfect, so people should like me. Real confidence is, I don't care if people like me. I'm doing this anyway. And that's magnetic. People are drawn to that because it's rare. Everyone's so busy trying to be normal that when you see someone just being themselves, you notice it. It's pretty easy to notice it. Now let's talk about what actually happens when you choose to stay quote-unquote normal, when you choose to hide your weirdness and just fit in. First of all, you become forgettable. It's pretty easy to forget you. You blend in, your friends might like you, but there's nothing distinct about you. There's nothing that makes you memorable. In a year from now, will they remember specific things about you? Or will you just be another person they used to know? But there's something deeper than that, something that actually matters more. When you're constantly performing a version of yourself that you think people want, when you're hiding the real you, that's exhausting. And it creates this weird disconnect on some level, you know. The people don't actually like you. They like the character you've created. Another example you can use is YouTube. You know, a lot of people put on an act. And a lot of people burn out from it. It's pretty easy when you're playing this character, you know, pretend to be someone you're not for YouTube, and you know, you kind of just get that burnout. I've seen people with hundreds of friends who are miserable because none of these friendships are based on who they actually are. They're based on a performance, and you can't build real connections on top of a lie. But then there's a practical side of it, the opportunities that you actually miss. Opportunities don't come to normal people. They come to people who are doing something different. People who are pursuing something that nobody else is pursuing. People who have a perspective that nobody else has. Think about your own life. When you've stumbled onto something interesting, something worth paying attention to, wasn't it usually because someone was doing something weird? Someone was pursuing their weird interest, and that became the thing you were interested in. That's how it works. The weird people are the ones who create opportunities. And then normal people follow behind and try to replicate what they did. If you want to build something, create something, or become someone, you need to be willing to be weird about it. Because if you're just doing what everyone else is doing, then you're just like everyone else. You're pretty replaceable and you're generic. But you're probably thinking, okay, this is like the easiest concept to ever understand in the entire universe. Like, this is not new. Like, everyone says this, blah, blah, blah. Or even like some people, like, you can't just flip a switch and stop caring what people think. That's not how that works. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You just need to start small. It's pretty easy. You know, pick one thing, just one thing you're weird about, something you've been hiding, an interest you don't usually talk about, a hobby that seems uncool, a way of thinking that's different from your friends. Just one thing, and then do it. Show it, talk about it, no apologies, no explaining yourself, just be honest about it. And here's the key part. Don't wait for permission, which a lot of people do. That's kind of weird. Nobody's going to sit you down and tell you it's okay to be yourself now. I'll be honest, like, no friend group is going to do that. It's something I can't, it's just, they're not going to do that. No one's going to do that. You know, you have family or parents, they'll do that, you know, some boomers, but people your age, I'm assuming people, you know, around 20, whatever, they're not going to tell you that. No one's going to tell you that. Most people actually won't care as much as you think they will. Anyway, that thing you've been so afraid of to share, your friends will probably either not care or they'll actually think it's interesting because they're probably hiding their own weird shit too. And when you show them yours, it gives them permission to show theirs. Or like a a gate, like an open door for them to share their own thing, you know? Suddenly you're not alone anymore. You find out that everyone around you has some interest and weird opinions, quote unquote. And now you can actually just be yourself together. Sounds kind of crazy, but that's when friendships become real. That's when you're not just performing together, you're actually connecting. So test it, you know, start with people who actually matter, not strangers on the internet, not someone you met on, you know, a Discord server or, I don't know, a game, any other game. Not that, because those friendships don't matter. I'll be so honest with you. They do not matter. But, you know, someone you actually know, actual close friends, show them, you know, quote unquote, weird side. I don't know. See what happens. And then the second time you do it, it's easier. The third time, it's easier. And by the 10th time, you're not even thinking about it anymore. You're just the person who does quote unquote weird things. It's just part of who you are, you know, expressing yourself. And you'll realize something. Being yourself is way less scary than you thought it was. It's that simple. And here's what I want you to understand about the world. The people who build real relationships are weird. Because real attraction, real connection, that's based on authenticity. It's based on depth. It's people don't fall in love with someone who's playing it safe. They fall in love with someone who's interesting. Someone who has weird passions and unique perspectives. Obviously has to cater to something similar to what they believe, but you can get what I'm saying. People don't like a copy and paste. At least real connections, real love. They don't like a copy and paste because they can just get you anywhere else. That's why, you know, cheating is so easy nowadays. Someone can find you and, you know, you're the same as the next person down the street. It's not that hard. Just be different. Be unforgettable. They have to be thinking about you all the time. The people who get opportunities are weird because companies don't want robots. They kind of do now, you know, AI, but you know what companies, real companies, they don't want people who do exactly what everyone else is doing sometimes. They want creative people, people who think differently. The person with a unique idea is the one who gets ahead. And the people who actually feel fulfilled, who actually feel like their life means something, they're weird. They're pursuing things they actually care about. They're not just grinding through a meaningless existence. Meanwhile, the normal people, they're invisible. They're replaceable. They're easy. AI can take their job in a matter of seconds. Well, sometimes just companies are just horrible, but they spend their entire lives wondering why they never became anyone or accomplished anything. The only real failure is staying small, is choosing to be invisible, is letting fear keep you from being yourself. So here's what I want you to do this week. One thing, just one, please, do something weird. Share an interest you've been hiding, you know. Doesn't have to be something crazy, like something from the depths of hell that you've been hiding, you know, nothing that you'll take to the grave, just something that you're interested in. Football, shoot, it can even be political, you know. Share your political thoughts on something. That really sparks up conversations with friend groups, if they care. Try something that seems uncool. Be honest about something you usually lie about. That was a voice crack. Wow. Show people the real version of you. You know, worst case, nothing changes. Best case, you start building real friendships. Actually, no, the worst case can be they hate you, which those are not real friends then. I'll tell you that. But you start finding opportunities. You start becoming the kind of person who actually stands out. And you realize that being yourself is not just okay, which in this day of age, you should realize that people should be themselves now. It's actually the only way to build a life that matters. But yeah, something just quick and simple. I've been feeling great about myself lately. You know, I've been kind of talkative lately, with friends and family. So this video kind of resonated with me. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked making it. You know, put in the comments if you have any video ideas or something I should talk about, or how this resonates with you. I don't know.
Yeah, the question is why? Why, though? The reason is because you can say a soul that's already been through this gamut, this samsara a bunch of times, wearing a physical body, an emotional body, mental body, experiencing what it is to have pain, to suffer, experiencing death, etc. That gets stored. Those memories get stored in your causal body, you can say. You keep the causal body, you keep them through all incarnations, but we can't remember them. Can you imagine, like, isn't this life enough? Compared to, like, if you could remember everything from all lives? Yeah, Don't you think God's doing us a favor? But those memories are there, but they're suppressed. But they can still be felt on deep subconscious level in the form of a tendency or just a heightened sense of awareness, etc. Okay. There was a movie. I don't remember the name of it, but this is depicts what I'm trying to say. The girl was a young girl, like a teen or something, but she had. I always like these kind of movies. She, especially if it's a girl, the girl like knows how to do it better, like the compassion and emotion and everything. Like that's their thing, you know. So the girl, they were trying to escape like something, some kind of mass destruction, and so they were all getting on a ship to try to escape this. But the problem was there was too many people, and the ship didn't have enough space. So of course she got on. She's important, and then as many people tried to get on as possible, but then they had to say, "Okay, sorry." Because they were all going to die. It's like, you know, it's karma, what to do. And then, but the people, because of self-preservation instinct, they're like, no, you know, I have to get on the ship. Look, I have babies, and, you know, life's super dramatic. When you die, you realize, damn, that was a hell of a dream, wasn't it? No different than the dream at night. I'm digressing for a second, but I'm totally with the story, and I finish it. I had a dream a week ago. I dreamt of me and my dad were in a car. I hadn't dreamt about him in like 30 years or something. And we were driving, and there were bombs going off everywhere. There were bombs in front going off, bombs behind going off. It was just a question of like, okay, when are we gonna get hit? And I remember something was just waiting somehow. I was tuning to this. I knew that I couldn't die, but I knew that this form as I knew it was probably gonna die like any second, you know? And so something was just, I felt super calm actually. I can say I was praying, but it wasn't really a prayer. It was a silent prayer, just staying super tuned, you know, just, yeah. And then I woke up. So the girl was on the ship, and everybody's trying to get on the ship. So the people started shooting the people trying to get on the ship. Did I finish my thought though with that story? I just meant like when you wake up from that, like I woke up from that dream that I just shared about being in the car and bombs were going off. I woke up and when I was in the dream, it was super real. Super real. I woke up and damn, it's not okay, cool. I was just like, damn, that was an intense dream. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. We think we wake up from the night dream and now we're in reality. No, man, like, what do you mean? When you leave this body, it's going to be the same experience you have when you wake up from your dream at night. You're going to realize, damn, this was also a dream. So try to realize it now. They started shooting the people that were trying to get on the ship because they weren't, otherwise everybody dies. And the girl, she was feeling all that. And she started like, she was like convulsing almost, like on the, laying on the floor of the ship. And they're like, you know, what's wrong? She's like, I feel all those people dying, you see? So now we're trying to tie in the topic, the title. So old souls, they feel, they're super sensitive. They're not trying to feel like, oh, I'm so sensitive, I'm gonna feel. They just, it's there because of like been doing this for a long time. They have unity consciousness more than the average person. Average person, they only have, it's more like tribal consciousness. If you hurt me, if you hurt my family, I care. Yeah. Other people, I don't really care. Animals, I don't feel anything. Bugs, please. This is the collective consciousness, you know? But the souls that have been around a while, you feel everything. You feel yourself in them. That's why I like that movie Powder. The hunter shoots the deer. Powder felt what it felt like for that deer to experience that death. He took the hunter's hand and put it on the deer. Powder was special though, like, okay? He gave the hunter the same experience the deer had. The hunter felt it, stopped hunting after that. Now some of the mines, I remember they left a comment and they're like, what, like you're not supposed to, you know, I'm not getting into all this shouldn't, you know, should you hunt, should you eat meat? That's beside the point. That's an individual thing. I don't waste time talking about that. I'm just sharing about unity consciousness. This is the point. You apply that as you intuitively feel fit to. So these older souls, you're just sensitive, man. You feel these things. So of course you're going to suffer more. You feel the inner workings of your own body and mind. And it's usually why those people, they don't do good when they take synthetic drugs that the doctors like to give to help numb the pain, because you feel too deeply how that's like working on you and your system. These beings, they're blessed in a sense. You have to find God, period. What does it mean? Align yourself with the spirit that's inside you. You find your own individual way how to do that. So it's really the heightened sensitivity that makes these older souls suffer. You can't really turn that off. Now, it can get excessive though, you see? It's about balance. It's not like, oh my God, I'm so sensitive, like I just feel sad that the whole planet's dying, I'm crying every day. It's like, look, the planet can take care of itself, you know? If the planet needs to reset or something, because we're like too stupid and we keep messing it up, it'll just send some cataclysm and everything's gonna get reset and then we'll start over again if it wants. God's running the show. Not us, not the elites, nothing. God. Nothing can happen outside the permissive will of the divine. It's impossible. But the show looks real, don't it? And we're supposed to do our part. If the life force wants you to participate as in the role of the protagonist to help, yeah, do it. But don't have such a big identity around it. I'm helping the world, you know? You need to help the world. Remember the video? It was several years ago. And they're all hell-bent on being vegetarian. I'm vegetarian, by the way. People ask me, for the most part, yeah. If I'm at the airport and I'm hungry as hell and I have a long flight and all they have is like sushi or fish or something, then yeah, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm not dogmatically vegetarian. I'm vegetarian because the nervous system functions better. It's easier to digest, you know. But there were the people that they wanted everybody to be vegetarian. So then the girls submitted to this, by the way. It wasn't like an act of violence. Well, it was an act of violence, but it was purposely done. The guys had a branding iron, you know, that you brand the cows with. And the girls were in their swimsuits because they wanted to show the marks that's going to take place when the guys branded them. So the guys would put that hot coal on the girls, and brand them, and then put it on YouTube, you know? That's an example of being too excessive. Like, what do you think? A meat eater is going to be like, damn, I should stop eating meat. No, they're going to be like, look at these, they're going to call people stupid. Like, look how stupid they are. You see, that's an example of being too fanatic. So you're not going to change your sensitive nature. You inherit that because of the reasons I already said. You've evolved into a higher level of unity consciousness and sensitivity that the average person doesn't have. That's why you have more sensitivity. That's why the pain level, we're using the word suffering, just do that for the title. That's why that's going to be a little higher than your average robot who doesn't feel anything. Just doesn't feel anything. So you get to where you accept that. You don't try to fight it. This is like how it is. This is the tax for being a human on this planet with your level of consciousness and evolution. Like, what are you going to do? Your higher self somehow put you here, so you got to go through it. Ask God to help buffer the maybe extra sensitivity that you feel and that you have. That, and also be careful not to make an identity around it. Like, I'm such a sensitive person, I'm just doomed to suffer because I'm so sensitive. Because look, the other side of it, there's always duality. The non-duals would disagree. You can say the negative side is that you feel things a little too deep, all right? Well, what's the positive side? Yeah, you know what it is. You can feel joy and serenity easier also. You gotta, like, you can't take one without the other. It just doesn't work. So hope you got something from that. Yeah, leave me any questions you have. I'll see you.
Where's my lunch?
I mean, why do you think the babies cry? They're used to being on the astral plane and flying around, being super free compared to this dimension. Then they come here and they can't even figure out, like, how do I even move my arm? I can't even walk. I'm used to flying. I can't even walk. That'll make you cry. This is what causes, this is the main core reason that causes the suffering too, is because there's something in us that is aware of our infiniteness, our limitlessness. You can't obliterate that. That's there. That's the essence of who we are. If that wasn't there, then we couldn't experience the limitedness. You gotta have both. You gotta have the limitless and the limited in order to experience both also. But this dimension, it's so stepped down that compared to the limitlessness, we experience more the limitation as opposed to the limitlessness. And so we have this inner feeling that knows. Even if you're not aware that you know. That something here, that who you really are, your essence, isn't this. You know at least that much. And so then we have the physical body, super limited, emotional body, super limited, all the feelings and emotions and moods, and it's like, why do I feel this way? Like, why do I want to, like, I'm stuck in this negative heaviness, this energetic heaviness, or I'm stuck wanting to experience, I'm obsessed with certain desire, or fulfilling my senses, or whatever, a limitation. But you know that you're higher than that. It's like, why? What the hell? Like, why am I, like, I know I'm higher than that, but yet I'm stuck in it. I'm gonna go make another mistake that I've made 100 times, and it's stupid, but I gotta do it again. That creates friction and stress and disappointment. And then you have the mental body. You have this crazy mind with its thought loops, keeps looping. You get stuck on the same thing, same worry, over and over again. And you can see how you're exacerbating your problems or issues because you keep thinking about it. This is something that people with certain, chronic elements have. It's one example. It's like, why? They keep focusing on their symptoms. Then that makes the symptoms worse. And you see that you're doing it. And you know you're doing it, but you can't stop doing it. Yeah. So then the self-talk starts. Why am I doing it? I keep doing this. You get mad at yourself. That's the real pain there. That causes the real pain. That's worse than if you have a certain element or a certain imbalance in your nervous system or emotional body. It's that self-talk, this lack of, you can say, self-compassion that really makes the stress. It's like the lesson here is to recognize, to honor this feeling that well, I think most on this channel know, this intuitive feeling you have that you know you're not this body. You know it, like there's something that knows it. But at the same time, and meaning that if you're not this body, your real nature's formless. You know that, but at the same time, you're playing in this, whatever you want to call it, game, samsara. You're playing a role, a theater play where you're in this body. You're in a body, an appearance of a body. It's non-dual talk. So you're in this appearance, and you have all these. You have to take the whole 3D virtual reality package with it. You see, emotions, and you can't control all. It's like you have this. It's like putting a 4-year-old inside some, advanced rocket ship and then telling him to like work it. He doesn't know how to like navigate it. It's like too advanced. It's too many things, too many factors and variables and cofactors and interconnections, and you got karma and you have certain limitations. You can't just, you can't just non-dual it away and say, well, it don't exist and I know I'm the formless. I mean, you can try, but those things, they keep eating at you. This is what causes the suffering. It's that play of duality between limitlessness and limitation. So what to do? That's why I touched on what to do. Or can't do anything. That's another problem. Can't do anything. What can we do? You see? You see how the mind, we're so geared and conditioned, like, what do we do? I gotta like, it's like what do we do in the sense, like, how do I get from point A to point B? Oh, what do I gotta do? I gotta walk. Okay, that's what I gotta do. You can't, it doesn't work like that with spiritual evolution or transcending limitation. It's not a doing. But there's an appearance of a doing. Cleaning your lifestyle up, a good diet, good company, good environment, preserve your sexual energy, have some kind of spiritual practice. Oh, it looks like you're doing there. Yeah, it's a doing, but you can't control the results. So again, everything's paradoxical and everything's dualistic because this is the game. It's dualistic. So it's a doing and an undoing and a not doing. When we try to talk about infinite things and step it down into this very low-level language called English, Sanskrit's a little better. I don't know it, though. You wouldn't understand it, most of you, but I did know it. So when you step it down into a very gross level of verbiage and language, it just sounds funny. It's like the language of opposites. It's like he's saying do, don't do, and undo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you also, the 3D game's not all just bad, negative. Looks like it on one level, but another level, there's an inner guidance that's guiding us how to do and to undo and to not do. This is the main thing. This is what I was saying. I don't know, a minute ago, I was saying I made a video about how to attract God's attention. And one of those principles is you have patience and acceptance. You accept the limitation. You know your true nature is limitless, but at the same time you realize you're in this game. There's nothing you can do about it. You're in this hospital of delusion, you can say. What are you gonna do? Like, you're in it. Make peace with it. But let inner guidance tell you how to make peace with it too. Because how do you make peace with it? How do you make peace with such deep limitation? I need God to tell me how to make peace with it. Like, God, He put me here. All right, help me, show me what to do. So you listen to this inner guidance. At the same time, you accept and expect that you're always going to be limited when you're in this form. You just are. There's some teachers and gurus, and it even happened recently. It's easy to start thinking like, whoa, I'm showing way to the people, man. Millions of people following me. Then bam, you get hit with something. This machine that you're driving stops working. And you end up with the medical doctors or somewhere. Because you can't mess, like, what are you gonna do? You can deny it all you want. No, I'm one with the source, and yeah, it doesn't work. Certain extenuating circumstances, they're here to keep us humble. God puts those circumstances here, sometimes for that reason. So I'm trying to say, stay humble from the get-go. And then when those things happen, if they happen, you're not going to be like shocked by it or surprised, and you're not going to try to justify and rationalize and deny it away. This is important, you see. No, I have a big crowd, I gotta maintain my idea or reputation that I think I have. Although most have you figured out anyway. They're nice. They don't tell you that. So you give reverence to the to the supreme being that's taking care of us, and how he takes care of us even in the midst of extreme limitations and hardship, because we need help if we're in this form, in this human form. So that's why I say there's no one and you're done self-realization. It's a messy process. This is a messy process, this evolution, because it would be boring. Imagine, like, what's that movie? I don't know, it's 10, 12 years old, with Will Smith. Remember, he could fly around everywhere? That was a damn good movie. And then there's always a girl in it, because they need that to make it even better. And then she had the same power, remember? And they couldn't recognize each other, but then they ended up recognizing each other because of destiny. And yeah, if somebody knows the name, put that in there in case somebody wants to see it. So it would be like that. It would be like if God, because I can hear the mind says, well, why would God want to be, if he's, unlimited, why would he want to be limited? Why can't we be here on this plane and just be like unlimited? Yeah. That would be like that movie. He could just fly around. He could do anything. They put him in prison. He just flies out. Bullets don't hurt him, nothing. It messed the whole game up. So, and then they join the MMA, just beat everybody. We take it to another level. They do Jedi stuff on the fighters. There'd be no challenge, no nothing. You notice how everything, it's amazing. Like, everything's kind of worked out. I mean, it's made even, kind of balanced. I mean, there's some humans that can do some super stuff, but take, for example, boxing or MMA or any sport. There's some greats, but they're not like Superman. Everything's kind of even and balanced. Yeah, this is what we signed up for. Like, there's limitation that we have to accept. So I'm all about balance, because I found this is the only thing that not only makes any sense, it's the only thing that works and takes the pressure off. So you have your spiritual practice. I gotta mention my satsang. Yeah, that was the intention. See, I almost forgot again. But let me finish this thought. You have your spiritual practice where you're letting inner guidance show you how to more and more recognize and realize your true nature. You have that going. At the same time, you're accepting your limitations that you have as a human. You got both. You work with both and let inner guidance tell you how to navigate both. Yeah, so we can talk about that on Sunday. Darn, I forgot the date. I think I'm gonna upload this Friday, which is still in April. So the satsang's gonna be the following Sunday. It's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday. It's like May something, 4th or, yeah. And so then we can talk about this. We want to address both. I don't want to only talk, well, you know me, I don't want to just non-dual. Everything's just God, that's it. Well, then there's no reason to even have a satsang. But I also don't want to talk only on practical human level with earthbound problems. Like, I have these problems and how do I get rid of them? Yeah, we can look at that. I'm not denying them, for sure. But let's look also, how's your spiritual practice going? Are you aware of your limitless nature? And not just as a belief, yeah, I know we're all God. No, how does that help you? You're aware of your limitless nature. How is that helping you on practical level deal with these limitations or issues you have? You see, both. We don't deny the human limitations, but at the same time, we don't just focus 100% on them. Yeah, good. I'm glad that was said. That's what we want to look at on the following Sunday. Good. So let me know if you want to go Website link is in the description box. All right, have a good day. This is one of the biggest peace givers there are. When I realized that, like, this was a rat race, like a spiritual rat race that I was doing to myself, of constantly trying to chase some idea of what it is to be spiritual or to be awakened or enlightened. When that got exhausted organically, how does it get exhausted organically? Go keep trying it and doing it and trying this practice and that practice and all that. And then you get to where you just burn out on it. You're like, wait a minute, what's the real goal here? You just sit with yourself. Remember the video I made? Just sit with yourself and let yourself figure out what's actually real. I was sitting there, I was like, what am I trying to do, man? Why am I trying to, like, chase this idea of what people think awakening is? Why? Because I want to, like, be peaceful. Because then I remembered when I was 12 and I had this spiritual experience. Some of you have read that in my autobiography book, and I've also shared it on some videos. That just blasted me out of the blue. There was no reason for it. I wasn't doing meditation. I wasn't, doing anything. It just hit me, bam. And so my mind secretly was chasing that experience again. Thinking like that's an awakened state. This is what I need to be in that state. This is what the enlightened people feel all the time. They feel that. I remember I was working with a guy, he had a near-death experience, and he was traveling around some of these other realms when he was out of his body and felt super peaceful. And then when he came back in the body, he kept chasing that experience, thinking that that's what enlightenment is. And then I realized, no, but these are just experiences. They're experiences. That moment I had, that it's longer than a moment, when I was 12, that was a spiritual experience. See, a lot of people, they're confusing experience with the awakening label. And then their mind desperately searches in their life, like, how can I want to, because the ego wants to feel like it's awake. So it'll comb through the history. Oh wait, I remember that time. I was like really compassionate and loving and peaceful. I'm awakened, yep, it happened, because the mind wants to attach some label to its existence, not knowing they're all just experiences. Any experience you have, life isn't static. That period I felt when I was 12, I felt peace more intense even than that, but none of it lasts. It can't. How can it last? It's an experience. And so then, when I brought things back down to practical level, there's a saying that says, if it's not practical, it's not spiritual. Things have to make sense. Don't get out there in mystic land. I'm here to demystify things. I don't intend to or set out to do that, but this is what flows.
Nicely. It's too late. Too late. Oh, too late. Thank you.
weight, control, the powers of being interactive.